What is up, y'all? This your boy D, aka JYVENT, and this is News from the Block. Today, we talking about these viruses. We got these viruses that's spreading, some that y'all know about, and there's some that y'all don't know about that the government is not telling y'all about. Let's go. What's up, y'all? This is News from the Block. I thank y'all for joining me. The first thing we got coming up on today's topic is E. coli.
If you're out here eating groceries, just know that E. coli can kill you. Okay. Now, for those that know what I mean when I say groceries, you know. So E. coli can kill you. It can live in your gut and not cause you any problem. E. coli is a group of bacteria that can, again, live in your gut, not cause you any issues whatsoever. But there is one called a Shiga toxin producing E. coli that can cause severe illness. Okay. And it can even lead to death. So we see this a lot with food that's being mishandled, dirty kitchens, people not washing their hands after they go to the bathroom. I don't know if you guys have seen these signs in bathrooms when you go to a restaurant, employees must wash their hands. That's a very real thing because people can die from E. coli being in their food, and it's usually as a result of food being mishandled and people not washing their hands. But sometimes people get it because they are engaging in activities where that E. coli is excreted from. Y'all be safe out here.
Wow, I can't believe you can get that from doing that. I'm glad I don't do that. But coming up next, this next one coming up go hand in hand with E. coli, Shingella, and I hope that I pronounced that right.
Breaking medical news, a drug-resistant infection is rising in the United States, and some cases may become harder to treat. According to the CDC, cases of extensively drug-resistant Shingella.
The CDC is warning the public this morning about an increase of a drug-resistant strain of bacteria called Shigella.
Shigella is a gram-negative bacteria, we call it, and it can cause really bad diarrhea, bloody diarrhea. And there's been an increase in cases, 450,000 cases reported in this outbreak, mostly among gay and bisexual men. And the problem is they're drug resistant. So the usual antibiotics that we use that are easy to use, this Shigella has become resistant to it. So it's really going to be about control of behavior, oral kind of fecal spread. That's what's happening to cause this outbreak.
Okay, we are all over this story for you. Breaking this morning, Dutch authorities say a flight attendant who was in touch with a woman who died from hantavirus in South Africa has been admitted to a hospital after showing symptoms. There are also new reports that some of the Americans who were on board that ship plagued by an outbreak for days have returned back home. Well, now there's growing worry that they may have brought the rare and deadly virus back with them. Nick's here with the latest on this story. Nick, officials in several states are now monitoring this entire situation.
Absolutely, Mark. They're doing what they call contact tracing. They want to make sure that anyone who is on this ship is not taking that virus anywhere with them without being traced. While the CDC tries to tamp down public fears, at least 3 state health departments are keeping tabs on people who were just on board the MV Hondias. The New York Times reports that California, Georgia, and Arizona state health departments are each monitoring residents who were on that beleaguered ship. Right now, however, the 2 people in Georgia are not showing any symptoms. Those reports come after 3 people were evacuated off the ship on Wednesday, including the ship's doctor. There have been 3 confirmed hantavirus cases on board, with 5 more suspected. 3 passengers have died. The ship, with nearly 150 people still on board, is expected to dock in Spain's Canary Islands in a few days, where the remaining passengers and crew will be evaluated. In the meantime, Marky, those still on board are being asked to social distance, sanitize their hands, and isolate in their rooms as much as possible.
I still can't imagine being on board this ship for any of this. So, Nick, what's all being done to ensure the virus doesn't spread off that ship to land into other communities now?
Yeah, Marky, they want to tamp down public fears, right? As we mentioned, several state health agencies are monitoring the situation here at home, but doctors say for the most part, people really don't have anything to worry about.
The only documented cases where it looked like there might be human-to-human spread were very close contacts, husband and wife, parent and child, people who lived in very close proximity to one another.
And on Tuesday, that sentiment was echoed in a statement by the CDC's acting director, who said, quote, "The risk to the American public is very low," adding that the virus is only spread by close contact with symptomatic carriers. Meanwhile, the ship's crew and passengers will be examined in Spain before being sent to their home countries. The 14 Spanish passengers on board will then quarantine in a military hospital in Madrid before being allowed to return to their communities. Other countries have said they will isolate or monitor passengers when they return home. The World Health Organization is set to give an update around 9 a.m. Eastern this morning. And of course, Marky, we will follow that and bring you the latest.
Yeah, we'll be tuned in, but praying for safety and health for all involved. Nick, thank you so much.
Yeah, prayers out to all them people that's stuck on that ship. I can't imagine what they're going through. I can't imagine myself going through that. But y'all know we not finished. Coming up next, we got bacteria that's mutating into a superbug.
A return to the dark ages of medicine, drug resistance and mass deaths. That's the warning from scientists as a result of a new global study into antimicrobial resistance. That occurs when diseases evolve into superbugs that cannot be treated with antibiotics and has been dubbed one of the top global public health threats by the WHO. It's estimated that 40 million people will die directly from superbugs by 2050 and a further 169 million will be indirectly killed. The more we use and misuse antibiotics, the more bacteria evolves around them, with about 100 deaths per week in Australia attributed to superbugs. People aged over 70 are most at risk, with the number of fatalities from superbugs expected to increase by 146%. South Asian countries such as India and Pakistan, as well as sub-Saharan Africa, are predicted to have the highest number of deaths. There is some hope. The study has outlined ways to reduce the threat, including producing new antibiotics, getting people vaccinated, and minimising incorrect use of antibiotics.
This is a public service announcement. Please share this information widely. You may have heard about these nightmare bacteria in recent media reports. What they're talking about is something called NDM-producing CRE, which is a type of bacteria called Enterobacterales, which can cause severe bloodstream infections and be life-threatening. And they're resistant to a very strong antibiotic called carbapenems. They're very hard to treat. And we don't know exactly why they are surging, but there have been a 460% increase in the number of cases from 2019 to 2023. In 2020, there were over 1,000 deaths attributed to this bacteria. And we need to help raise awareness about it and to help you understand what are some things that you can do to help address this issue.
The CDC says a so-called nightmare drug-resistant bacteria is on the rise.
Antibiotic resistance is one of the biggest challenges in healthcare today. A serious example is carbapenem-resistant Enterobacterales, or CRE, sometimes called the nightmare bacteria. These germs usually live quietly in the gut, but in hospitals they can invade the lungs, bloodstream, or urinary tract and cause life-threatening infections. They're called carbapenem-resistant because even carbapenems, some of our strongest last resort antibiotics, no longer work against them. One especially dangerous type, NDM-CRE, has spread rapidly, with US cases rising more than fourfold between 2019 and 2023. Preventing these infections depends on early testing, careful antibiotic use, and strict infection control.
Studies in 2025 show that plastic helps bacteria develop resistance to antibiotics, driving a crisis that medicine is increasingly unable to control. Why? Because plastic is the perfect platform for bacterial growth. On its surface, they easily form biofilms, a dense protective layer shielding bacteria from sunlight, drying out, immune system attacks, and, most importantly, from antibiotics. Just like viruses, bacteria can survive on plastic longer than on other materials, sometimes for 3 days or more. This makes microplastic an efficient carrier of dangerous microbes through water, soil, and food.
Wow, if ain't one thing, it's another. But there is another thing we need to worry about. Forever chemicals. They say forever chemicals is in our water supplies and it's here to stay.
Going to have you looking at your kitchen sink a little funny. An alarming report about a new warning of what could be in our water.
Yeah, that's really concerning, as Fox's Gary Bumgarden reports nearly half of all tap water in our country is contaminated with forever chemicals.
Water is just water, right? Wrong. According to a new study from the U.S. Geological Survey, drinking water from roughly half of all faucets nationwide likely contain PFAS, commonly referred to as forever chemicals.
PFAS are an acronym for per and polyfluoroalkylated substances.
The synthetic compounds are near impossible to break down. They've been widely used in many non-stick cooking products, various food packaging, clothing, and more. And over time, they've been seeping into the environment, as well as private and public water systems, especially if companies using PFAS deposit them into wastewater.
They don't break down for a really long time. And in terms of some of these in the environment, it could be years to hundreds of years.
And if the chemicals are ingested by people,
it may take 10 years almost to remove half of what you've been exposed to.
They can carry potentially deadly consequences.
It can cause like cancer, it can cause immunity problems, it can cause liver problems, it can cause kidney problems.
The study from the U.S. Geological Survey examined water samples from taps in more than 700 different locations. Samples were taken between 2016 and 2021 with higher amounts of PFAS found in cities. Officials hope the results will inspire people to treat their drinking water and have it tested. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
Did you know that every single drop of rain falling on Earth today contains toxic chemicals that will never disappear? These are called PFAS, or forever chemicals, and they've quietly invaded every corner of our planet. They got their scary nickname because they literally never break down in nature, ever. Scientists have found them in Arctic snow, deep ocean water, and inside every human being tested. Even newborn babies are born with these chemicals already in their blood. PFAS came from everyday items we trusted: non-stick pans, waterproof jackets, firefighting foam. When we used them, tiny particles escaped into the air and water, traveling thousands of miles on wind currents and ocean streams until they reached the most remote places on Earth. Here's the shocking part. Chemical companies knew these substances caused cancer and damaged immune systems for decades, but kept making them anyway. Now, cleanup will cost billions of dollars, and we still don't know how to remove them from our environment. We've accidentally created a permanent change to Earth's chemistry that our children and their children will inherit forever.
They're scanning our faces in public places, at protests, even at our children's schools. The government is building secret databases they can go through anytime that they feel like it. They're blanketing our neighborhoods with flock cameras.
So here's an honest question. If they're doing all of this, flock cameras, Ring doorbells that they're integrating, Palantir, all these databases, data centers taking up massive amounts of electricity and water, and all of it is to solve crime and keep us safe, then why isn't crime going down, and why isn't criminal cases being solved at record paces? Because they've got all this data. All these children going missing haven't suddenly been found. So if they're not using it to solve crimes and find missing children, what are they using it for? What will they use it for?
But that's it, y'all. I hope y'all appreciate it. I hope y'all was educated. And I hope this here helped y'all to be safe out there. I'm D, and this is News from the Block. I'm out. Peace.